Hi there.
Yes, ma'am.
You started your class yet?
Not quite yet.
Okay. Thank you for taking them out. I was doing it so they don't bother me.
Morning. How's everybody doing? Having a fun time? Good, good.
Morning.
Morning. Everybody's having fun with Adam, being the great what in the world developers. Fun, fun.
I can't get the, I'm having an issue getting the Terminal Plus installed.
So even if you log into GitHub?
Yeah, like I've downloaded GitHub, I've logged into GitHub, I've done everything. I can't get Terminal Plus to install.
Okay, well, we can get that command entered just through a command prompt if, you know, we don't have to have Terminal Plus. So
Okay.
that was just an easier way to do it. That was not so much easier, huh? Yeah, for you, that's the way it always works. I actually want to talk to you guys about that. Let's see, I haven't checked grades to see who all was able to get that done and turned in since we were trying to do a quick turnaround on that. I know that we have some people definitely that don't have it taken care of or ran into problems. But I wanted to talk about it overall first before we look at that. So let's see if I can do that. I'm going to shut off my video because it makes me not be able to focus. Let's see where we are. Okay, I'm getting there. Sorry. It's morning, huh? All right, and I'm still at home. It seems like it's hard to get into work mode. So I thought that this bright color stuff would wake us all up. And I wanted to tell you a little story about the Atom Chronicles, updating the Python development environment. Because I had nothing better to do with my life over the weekend, we all worked really hard trying to get Atom up and running. Why? Well, let's look at our timeline here. March 3rd, you guys wrote your first Python programs. That really wasn't very long ago, was it? Then we had a couple weeks of a break, and March 31st, you came back to online only. Last week on the 9th, we realized that we would really benefit if we had a code editor that allowed us to do code sharing so that we could change, update code simultaneously, view the updates, and still run our programs. So that would be our dream, right? To be able to do that with our study groups so that we can help each other because we're all alone out here in this online world. So that's where we left off on Thursday. And I found lots of things. So our goal basically was to allow all of the developers in our class to view and update source code simultaneously with their study group. Because, it's always good to keep our goal in front of us. So pair programming is a type of programming that has a little bit of popularity. So pair programming is actually a topic you can search for to find these kinds of tools and lists of them, and there are lots of them. Pair programming is where you put two people side by side and you let one person have the keyboard and the other person just has to contribute from the side. I've seen that work on the job when people are really involved in a project and they're working very closely together on something. In school, it can be kind of difficult because you can end up with, maybe a stronger person always taking control of the keyboard and the weaker person not ever having an opportunity to develop skills. So there's lots of risks inherently associated with this, but it can also keep that weaker person, maybe in class until they start understanding things better because people have their light bulb moments in programming at different times. So pair programming has its place. There are lots of tools available. One that I looked at that's really nice is codeshare.io. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to answer that question, Vincent, but not right now. Let's look at codeshare.io because I thought we were set with it. It's like, oh my goodness, this is perfect. We don't need anything else. Now, I don't want you to have to set up an account. I don't think you need to. You can just click share code now. I think. And then you'll have a share button that you can send a link to other people and they'll be able to share your code. So this share code, or codeshare.io is a very nice utility. We could use it. We could connect to each other and do all sorts of things with it. One problem with it, we can't run our code. So that means that we could do all this code sharing, but then each person would have to copy the code over to their own machine to execute it. I'm looking at comments here in the chat. Everybody's got all sorts of different experiences. Oh, you guys help each other. For sure, you're doing good because there's lots of different experiences. That's what we're encountering. So CodeShare.io would get rid of that, right? Because we wouldn't have to install anything on individual machines, but we wouldn't be able to run our programs, okay? So good things about it, bad things about it. I just want you to know about it. Visual Studio Code. Some people are using Visual Studio Code in other classes. It's a great utility. It's from Microsoft, but it's open source and freely downloadable. It can be difficult to configure to run Python, kind of the same as Atom can be. You do have to install extensions and add-ons to get it to work with Python. But it's a very nice editor, and it's something that you'll probably use in some other classes. So it's definitely a contender problem. It only allows 2 people to share code. So we lose our study group capability, and we are truly just pair programming. Again, we get that strong person and that weak person together, things are not going to go well. So there's a whole nother world that we could explore, because as students, I know that you guys want to learn about new things. You don't want to just be told what to do. I know sometimes you're like, just tell me what to do. But no, you really want to learn about your choices and learn about the problems that you encounter so that you know what to do if you run into that same experience again in the future. So there's a whole other world out there called iPython notebooks. And this is just a way to save Python code and run Python code. The iPython notebooks are being used by many universities for scientific programming classes. So for example, at OU, where they do meteorological research and they have a lot of data, they use iPython notebooks for their beginning programming classes to help people keep all of their Python code together. The iPython notebooks have an inherent powerful ability to code share. They're super easy to set up, and the big problem is they're kind of tricky, and I'm assuming most of you have absolutely no experience in how to use them. When I open them, they appear very scientific-y. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like if we throw a bunch of technical terms at you guys, or if Adam does and says, you must enter this command, do blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's how the iPython notebooks are. You're like, what? It's very, very scientific. So let's take a look at research.google.com. Because you guys might love them. When you look at research.google.com, you'll see that this is a whole big project, big endeavor being undertaken by Google, and they're working with big data, again, medical data, where there's a lot of samples to be crunched, to figure out what's going on. So we can go to tools and downloads. And they actually have some data sets and things like that available. They point out to you that their facility or their stuff is all open source. They're also related with GitHub, You'll never get away from it. And lots of different options and different things that we can work on. Okay, so this collaboratory is the one that is actually iPython notebooks. So with collaboratory, they show you some sample iPython notebooks, and they also allow you to open your own. If you have a Google account, any Google account, you should be able to access this. Is anybody seeing it? Are you taking a look at it?
I think that's a negative, Ghost Rider.
I'm thinking so too. I'm just going to wait then until people get there. Do you need help getting there? Not the other two. Let's see if I can send you this URL. I don't know. We shall try. I never know. You guys are always so fast with things. Okay, see if it will let you use that URL. If not, we could just type in the collab.research.google.com. I left that collab off when we first went into their area, their website. It's pretty cool.
Looks like I'm in.
Do I?
Looks like I'm there.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the other Google tools, so it's kind of handy. I'm going to click on this welcome notebook. So it looks like it's just text in like a document sort of thing, but I can add code wherever I want. So if we scroll down, you can see, you know, they have an intro video. We can look at the overviews. And then here's some actual Python code. And since this was entered with the add code option, this iPython notebook knows that this is Python code. Now, if you look at this Python code, we don't know exactly what it's doing because, again, kind of sciencey, but I can tell it's doing a plot, right? I got that one. And it's filling some things with green, maybe. And then its title is going to be this. So, you know, I mean, I can sort of say a little bit that's going on there. And here's our output. So with this iPython notebook, we can have text, we can have code, we can have output just embedded. I'm going to look at data science. Let's see, what about? So all of these table of contents areas are just taking us through different parts of the notebook. These other code snippets here are actually executing. We see we've got seconds in a day equals 24 seconds, you know, blah, 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 24 hours, sorry, times all of those things. And then seconds in a week. And the interesting thing is, notice how this code snippet can actually read this variable from this earlier one. You're in, huh? Oh, you're into it. Good, good, good. So take a look around, see what you think. We really could use whatever tool you guys want to use. The iPython notebooks are very, very powerful. And I'm kind of afraid that I wouldn't be able to support you well with using them, because it's just something that we have so much that we could use. But then on the other hand, man, how powerful, think about it, if we had been aware of this and using it since we first started with Python, we could have notes in our code snippets and other things, you know, all merged together in the notebook. So there is a lot of power there. So I just wanted you to really have an opportunity to explore some of the tools that are available to you as a beginning Python programmer. So many different ways you can take your learning if you like. While you look around, let me veer off one other place. Because I just looked this up the other day. Top 10 in-demand programming languages. And I like this site because it lists things in all sorts of different order. Do you see what's number one? Python is the number one in-demand programming language, no matter which survey, part of the country, area you're looking at. So all of these tools are great things to explore, just to be aware of, even if they're not something that you use or know anything about, but so that you could be in an interview and say, oh yes, I've heard of that. It's heavily used in the scientific community, right? And so kind of like, I've got this. But Python is a good thing to learn. Okay, so co-laboratory, iPython notebooks, whole scientific backing, just, you know, kind of a really good area. So back to this. Another one that I was shown is called Data Lore. That's also an iPython notebook setup, and it's very, very, very powerful. But it basically has the same idea. The notebook integrates text, graphics, links, and the code that you can execute. So they kind of are like trying to take everything that's good about a website, being able to have text and visuals and links, and adding in that code with the ability to run it. So very cool. Now I'm going to click next here. You can continue exploring that if you can find anything else to look at. So back to Atom. Now, how did I end up there? Looking at all of those different tools that are available. Well, we already use Atom in some of the web dev classes, and everybody likes it a lot. I've used it in Python in the past, and it got a lot of good reviews. Everybody liked it. Once it's up and running, it works really well. A cool thing about Atom is it allows an entire team to code share. You can update the code, each one of you, all simultaneously with different color cursors, and you can run the code, you know, each basically on your own machine, but you're still running it right there within Atom. So it doesn't make you do that copy and paste and run off someplace else and things like that. Now, some issues that people that ran into over the weekend that we're working hard to get all this installed. First of all, because this Atom feature that lets us share code is called Teletype. Teletype requires you to have a GitHub account. That's because the GitHub servers then are acting as a Teletype server for this Atom connection so that we can connect across using Atom. Another problem that people have run into is that our Python install library must be in our Windows path statement. So my Python library was in my path statement. I didn't have any trouble A lot of people's was, some people's weren't, because Python can be, pulled from a lot of different sources. We can have a lot of different installations, and so that can cause some confusion when we're installing things. At school, it was really easy because every computer was exactly the same, right? And so when we installed Atom, we just had to install the extensions that went along with it. So we have a little bit more fun and excitement with everybody installing it at home. Now, some good things to know. You have to be really comfortable with the file system as a developer. As a programmer, you need to know where your stuff is and what files and folders you have and how to get to them and how to manipulate them. Just drives, files, and folders. You don't need to know, like how to add a hard drive to a computer. You just need to know how to create folders, how to move files around, how to make sure everything's organized. So if that's not something you're comfortable with, and I think that the majority of you are, but if it's not, can you access the CIS101 textbooks through your Cengage Total Access account? Those are SAM books if you've had CIS101. There are many chapters in those books about using files and folders. They have great examples, all that great stuff. But yes, Vincent, I have not posted a video because the environment is very different from one person's machine to the next. And it should just be really simple instructions to follow. But because people have many different installations, it was not. But it wouldn't matter if I had a video, you guys still wouldn't have the same machines. Yeah, it's pretty simple instructions. So we need to look at maybe having more instructions like that if that's something that is too hard. Another area that you need to become familiar with, speaking of instructions, is command prompt basics. Have you worked with the command prompt before? As a developer, you can see from trying to use this open source software that it's something that could come in handy. And as we move towards more cloud-based tools, you'll be able to move further and further away from that command prompt. But right now, you're not far away from that command prompt. So you need to understand some really basics, that a folder is a directory. They're the same thing. In the command prompt, you use the dir command to list files in your current folder. You use the cd command to change the current folder. Now, I'm glad that you guys feel like you can spam me with a bunch of not very helpful chat messages. But yes, those are very simple instructions. Let's bring them up. Now, stop chatting and listen, please. The only problem that some of you are running into is that you have installed Python with an earlier release. It's very easy to tell if you're going to have the problem or not. Click on your start menu and type CMD to open a command prompt. Type Python. Can you do that? If you're able to type Python and you see the Python interpreter, then that means that the Python library is in your path statement. So you shouldn't need to install a newer release of Python. If you cannot type Python and have it acknowledged as a command, we need to go install the newer release. As you can see, I have a pretty old.
I thought I hadn't even. I thought I had the newer release, but it just opened up the Microsoft Store when I typed that in.
When you typed in the word Python?
Yeah, on command prompt.
Did you install it from the Microsoft Store?
I don't think so. I think I just did it from the website. Python.
Can you share? Let me release the screen if you can, because I have not seen that.
I'm having the same issue, and I went to go download, and it says modify setup. So I have 3.8.2, and it's not working for me either.
I also thought I had the newest version downloaded, but I had the same thing in my command prompt. It just brought me up the Microsoft Store.
Okay, can one of you guys share and then figure out what's going on? Because that's definitely a new one. It's always coming up with.
I was trying to. I'm bad at this.
Okay, so let's see where your Python is, Vincent. Can you close that?
My computer freezing in.
Yeah, 3.8.2 looks like it's the newest one. I think we're seeing some Microsoft involvement, huh?
Yeah, I have 3.7. Would that be a problem?
If you can type Python and it comes up with the greater than signs, you're good. Okay, so Vincent, can you look at Windows File Explorer and let's go find your program files folder for Python? So let's check your program files folder first. I don't see any Python in there. Does anybody see it? Okay, go back and let's do the x86. I still don't see anything. Do you see any Python? On your command prompt, I saw something about typing the command Python 3 instead of Python. Can you try that on your command prompt? Same thing, huh?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get it and see. He's got those 101 books. What happens when you say to get it from the Microsoft Store? Can you stay with the Microsoft Store?
If you get Python through the Microsoft Store, it doesn't actually install in a place where you would expect it to. It installs to users app data local Microsoft Store and it just is a beast to deal with. The
Yeah.
best way to get it is going to be getting it directly from Python's website.
Well, this is where you already got it from, isn't it, Vincent?
Yes.
That's where I got it from too.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if getting it from here again is going to do any good. If this is the bad place.
Gotta put it in my piece.
Because my release is 3.6.5. We could all go back and get an older one. Zach, have you had any experience with this release? Do you know if this is going into that users folder?
I've got a pretty good idea that's where it's going because I cannot find mine, so I'm digging through my app data local right now
To
looking
see
for
if
it.
that's where it is.
I'm on the same release, 3.8.2. I got it directly from python.org. I just don't know why it's not where it should be.
Right.
I've got the installer. I can reinstall, see if I can force it to go where I want it to, and go from there. If we can find the path, I can show everybody how to manually add it to their command line system. That's not an issue. It's just it should have been done by default with this version.
Yeah, and I don't like the way that Python command is opening the Windows Store. Because I mean, it's not
Even here either.
it's not even giving you guys the message that it's an invalid command. It's just going to the Windows Store. Let's get the prior release. RJ's got something here.
Okay, so it installs to C:users, username, app data, local, programs, Python, Python 3.8-3 by default.
Look at him go, go. You were so
You can customize the install location. If we were to re-download the Python 3.8.2 installer, you can actually modify the setup after it's already installed to enable the Python launcher, which would allow you to just type Python and have it do it through the command prompt, and change the installation location if we had to.
Let's do that. Okay, so do we need to uninstall?
We'd need to uninstall first.
Okay. Let's see what else we got. If you did, you guys might just want to uninstall and we'll just all stay together, and I'm going to ask Zach to just take over and drive to show everybody exactly what options to choose, if you don't mind doing that, Zach.
I don't mind.
And then you'll see those instructions are simple. It's just silly Python being mean to us. No,
I don't blame Python so much as I just really wish that they would have let you know this was the issue that you were going to be facing.
who's they?
The python.org website team.
Yeah, they could have been something.
They could have said, hey, you know.
Big change, big change. Nothing's going to work right. Yeah, that would be nice. That's the thing, though, is that when we're working with Python, we're working with open source. So these are exactly the kinds of issues that make some companies not want to have open source software. So you need to be aware of these things. It is an issue. If we were developers and we were in some sort of emergency, this is when people can end up having to stay up all weekend to get something worked out. So luckily, Zach's already put in the time and knows what to do for us. So that's what we. Okay, everybody's uninstalling. Christian, yours
Yeah,
didn't go to the
No.
Microsoft Store.
Working on
It's my mic unmuted. My mic's unmuted.
Oh, okay, Josh, great. Josh says there's an add Python to environment variables option when you're installing Python, and he clicked that when installing and his item works. So I think that's what Zach's going to show everybody how to do. So,
I'll stop sharing my screen.
okay. Thank you, sir. That's great. Okay, Zach, whenever you're ready.
Oh no, my Python window is blocking the view.
Oh, okay, can you go back, sir? Okay, so this is the one just from python.org, right? And we're just gonna install, but we're gonna customize it. And we're gonna add Python to our path. That's the big one right there that'll take care of a lot of things for us. Now your install location, the reason that they are installing Python to the users folder is security.
Can you go back a step? I'm not getting the option to install a path.
Oh, the little checkbox down at the very bottom?
Oh, okay, so you click that and then go to customize installation.
Yes. Sneaky way to do it. Michael, you don't need to reinstall it if you can run Python on your command prompt.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Sorry, I had my mic muted on my headset.
I know how that is.
So once both of these are checked, go to customize installation. Make sure this bottom one's checked as well. It should automatically check if you did the path one on the first screen. And then you want to just change the location and put it somewhere that's easy to find in the event you need to get into that folder. You can just make a new folder and call it Python. Highlight it, press OK, and it'll install directly there. And basically, I'm installing for all users, and I'm doing the precompile standard library. I'm doing the install for all users to make sure that it properly applies to the path settings. And then you just click install, let it do its thing.
So once you create that Python folder, you can hit OK.
Yes.
Today, I'm still very torn. We saw some good things in both dogs that we thought would be a good match for him, for me, and for Sunshine.
And now we wait.
And the installer has insufficient.
That worked on my end.
Insufficient privileges.
Okay. If you're getting an insufficient privileges, you may not be signed in as an administrator profile on your computer. If you're not, you might be able to get around that by right-clicking and running as administrator. But if you don't have that as an option, I don't know what we're going to be able to do for you without digging into what's going on.
That's why that default is that users folder,
Yeah, absolutely.
so that security isn't required. So it's a catch-22.
We really appreciate the fact that Melody gave Sunshine her space, and I think Sunshine appreciates it too.
Okay, Zach, does the Python command work on your command prompt now? So you do have to run it as an administrator.
Oh.
Isaiah says it works sort of. Adam recognizes it, but the terminal doesn't. So apparently we've just got to get the command prompt running with administrator privileges. Zach, it would not let you run that Python command without administrator privileges, would it?
Let me open a separate window. This is a standard command prompt.
Okay, good.
It is now.
Took it a second.
Yeah. The command prompt I had open previously was open prior to, so it was still looking at the old paths.
And then to get out of that Python prompt, what does it say to do? I don't know, Control Z or something. Control.
Exit with your braces or brackets.
And then if you want to see your path, you can use the command set, S-E-T, and that'll show you all of your environment variable settings. And so we can look up and we can see that path statement. And we can see right there, almost at the beginning, that we've got Python included, like it kept complaining about. So the path statement, as you can see, is kind of long and full of special characters. So we want to leave it alone unless we absolutely have to mess with it.
Now, this is something you can manually do. So in the event that people are still having problems because their user account just doesn't allow them to do it, we can set this manually.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to know what the exact path is.
Right, and I think in Adam, we can actually enter it as a parameter to the extension so that we can tell it that it's at a different location too. So either way is fine. If you want to bring up Adam, let's go ahead and take a look. I'm looking at the instructions here, and it says to create a GitHub account. Do you have one?
Yes, but I would have to reset my password. I don't remember what it is. Let me go look on my other screen here.
Well, let's go. Do you mind showing everybody education.github.com?
Oh, don't mind at all.
Now, this site was kind of confusing to some people, and it's just another location to create a GitHub account. It's an education site. So if you create your GitHub account using this site and tell them that you're a student, then you'll automatically get emails and stuff for all of the different software and things they have listed on this education site. So some of the things that they have are things that you could get through other facilities, but some of them are pretty neat. Now, if you choose to create an account, So you would click students and get benefits for students. And then we would need to go to the bottom and create an account. Now, because you're using the education GitHub, you'd want to use your OTC account as your email address. And then you could uncheck the spam option up here.
We knew for a fact that we wanted to do a dog menu. But now my mom's really pushing us to get this figured out. It's supposed to be a dog and human place. So my sister and I decided to try and make some of the dog menus.
That is the most interesting CAPTCHA I've ever had.
Timed you.
Yeah.
I've tried all of things before.
We want the free one.
Yeah, I was just looking to see what the difference was.
So I would want them to look really nice and professional. Hold it for this.
Now they're going to ask some questions, things like where you are, and you can add like your personal email address if you want to the account, so that it wouldn't just be tied to your OTC account. And how do you plan to use GitHub? You know, if you say for education or for school. Now, because he used his OTC account, he should have his GitHub account get activated really quickly, but there can be a little bit of a wait. Oh, sorry. They want the actual email address you use for school. Sorry. I told you you could use a personal one, and they need.
I did use it.
Did you?
Yeah.
This one must be separate from the original.
This was the same thing that I was having yesterday, and even if you like submit proof, like I went to the OTC website and got like a proof of my transcript, it still just continually loops and just tells you to keep putting it in over and over again.
Oh no, they must be broken.
But for me, my is working. The only thing that just isn't working is the Terminal Plus extension. Because it wants me to like download GitHub and all that stuff, but I already have it like downloaded on my Windows and still no dice.
Yeah, and you shouldn't need to download any of that stuff.
It made me do the same thing. It said that I had to go to the download GitHub website, and that's what I did.
Yeah, and I downloaded it and installed it onto my computer, and it still just still pops up with an error code. I typed it in my Discord like group a little bit, and we tried to figure it out, but I still couldn't get it. But yeah, like I said, everything else, like all the other extensions, I can run Python and everything. It's just that terminal plugin.
So if you go directly to github.com, can you log in okay?
Yeah, I can log in okay. And like even when I pull it up on my desktop, because like I downloaded the desktop version, it pulls up.
It's okay. Because yeah, we really shouldn't need to do the desktop thing.
That's what I was thinking, because it says you can install Git by downloading and installing and launching, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, I did it and I put it in the right.
I've done so much work.
I know. I thought it wasn't in the right path folder because that's what it was saying, but it is.
This is so much.
They just have it.
Everybody's together.
Okay, I think I get what they're doing. So they're looking at reviewing the information to verify.
For the education.
If you set it up over the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
they just may not have been office yet. The website's throwing you into a loop that's continuous because it's not auto-verifying based off of it. They're actually taking a look and manually reviewing each of these requests.
So let's leave that stuff kind of behind that education account, because we should hear back eventually. They might not have people working too. So we just want to go to github.com and make sure we can log in, and you should still be logged into the same account if it is working properly. If not, you might have to log in again.
Yeah, I'm already logged in personally.
We don't have to do anything else on GitHub. We just have to be connected to it. So that's all we need to do, so you can minimize it. Now, we want to go to...
Let me close my other folder here.
He's put everything back. Oh, yes, it's that.
He's not answered my question that I typed in chat.
I can't see the chat right now. I'm not ignoring you. I'm sorry.
It said, what do I need to put in the how do you plan to use GitHub box?
Just education. That should be fine. So
Yeah, that's all I put was education.
we just have to have that GitHub account so that we can use GitHub to be our server for this sharing facility. So we don't have to have any other GitHub stuff. I'm sorry it was asking you to download all these other things and everything. You can leave those installed and they'll be helpful to you in the future, or you can uninstall them, but they will be helpful. So now that we've got Adam kind of here, we want to get started with it, and we could go in whatever order we want, but let's make sure we can use it for Python. So we want to install a package. And Zach's going to open the installer, and in the search, he's just going to put Python. And we want that whole list. We want
Yeah, I didn't intend
IDE
to.
Python. That is one of them that we want. We want Atom Python run, build Python, language Python, Python indent, Python snippets, and Python debugger.
Is this the Atom program we're looking at? I
Yes.
haven't gotten to download that yet because I had bad internet out here.
It's atom.io is the website, which I can pull up on my other screen.
Yeah, and it should download real fast if you want to grab it so you can follow along a little bit.
No, I tried twice. I already tried twice and it failed both times. So I'm going to have to go into town and find some Wi-Fi or something.
Okay. I wonder. I didn't
I'm
think
out
it
in
was
the
that
sticks.
big. Is it big?
It's not.
No, it's
Okay.
not
It's only
terribly
like
large.
80 megs or something. Or 179. Yeah.
Babies in the background, all sorts of upset.
I know. You're being so mean.
Hear that?
There it is.
Is that it? No. Never mind.
I was gonna send him the installer over Discord because Discord's got that download management built into it. I'll see if that helped, but I can't find the installer.
No, me either.
So I'll just re-download it.
Oh, no worries. I can go sit outside the library and download it a little later.
It's
It'll take just a
180
second.
megabytes.
Yeah.
Language Python. Python.
Oh yeah, I didn't install it.
Most of this is already installed, but I don't see the language Python. I just see the language Python for a specific project.
For me, language Python was pre-installed, but I don't know why. Like, check your existing packages and see if it's there.
Mine was too.
And there's a search bar at the top.
I was gonna say, there's a search bar. You can go type it in.
Okay. Steve and Isaiah are saying language Python was pre-installed.
It is.
Okay, so you're good there. And Christian is saying you have to type it in. In the search, is that?
You'll have to bear with me just a second. I know I'm screen sharing, but I got to make a bottle for the baby.
Good man.
Okay, while he's making that, he's driving so good for you guys. Are you finding all of those? Has everybody else got Adam up and running? Found it working?
Several of us just can't get the Terminal Plus to work.
Okay, well, we're not there yet. So
Okay.
let's wait till we're there. But I guess you guys have this part working then, huh?
I've had like 3 cups of coffee this morning, so I'm running at like 100 miles an hour.
So you have this part working?
Yeah.
Okay. Can't get an answer. We want to do the things that are 5 steps ahead from now. Now, we're definitely not ready to be working on Terminal Plus. We need to step back and they're all worried about Terminal Plus. So what are we looking for, Zach?
I was verifying that the language package was installed, but that was pre-installed with Adam, apparently. So we did IDE Python, Adam Python run, build Python, Python indent, Python debugger, Python snippets. Were there any other Python-based packages you were wanting them to have installed?
Oh, sorry, I was answering Clee. Sounds good. Got them all. All right, let's see if we can run Python before we worry about terminals. So what we want to do is go to File, and Open Folder. I'm skipping ahead in the instructions. And we want to go find the folder that you've been using for your Python programs. And we want to just select the folder. So notice how Zach's prompt says select folder, not open file. So when you get to the right folder, let's select it. And it works really nice because Adam will just open that folder, and now you can go through all of the different files that you have in the folder. If you click on a Raptor file, it won't know what to do with it. It'll be a big mess. But if you click on a Python file, it should display it. Now he's getting some messages here. Let's take a look at those. So this is our language server issue that we want to get. He's doing things there. Okay, so to enter this command, we have a couple of options. We could use that Terminal Plus. And I thought, oh, I really like that one. That's a great option for everybody that's at home and doesn't know how to use command prompt. But I don't like it anymore because it's causing people a lot of trouble. So let's Control-C to copy that command. And then open your command prompt. And I think we need to open a command prompt with administrative authority. So we might have to go to our start menu, find a command prompt, and run it as administrator. Now I want to paste that command. So if Control-V doesn't work, you can use the little icon in the top left. Can you click on that little C up in the top left, Zach, so everybody, you can, whoops, no.
Yeah, I'll, as soon as it wants to agree with me, I will.
Nope, that was it. He was able to Control-V. But in that little command window, there's an edit option that will also let you paste. So if it's not letting you Control-V. Now, try to press enter to run this command.
I promise I pressed enter.
Did you? And he did, but it's complaining. And it's saying that it doesn't understand this command. So press the up arrow to redisplay the command again. And now backspace to get rid of The closing single quote.
What's going to happen. Yeah, I know. Look at her. You guys got a winner. When I
And
saw
then
Melody
that,
rolling around on the
just
couch,
click at the end where it left you.
I could see that she was really happy.
And backspace wants to get rid of that
Really
closing single
she's
quote.
doing so
Now
great.
use your arrow key to arrow over to that first quote and delete it also.
Really happy, and I can't wait to tell everyone. We
Now
just
press
really
enter.
did this adoption a little bit different, but it all worked out, which I'm really happy to see. And you know, these are the things that keep us going. Stay in touch. We want more updates, and you know, let me know if you guys need anything or have any questions. But it looks like she's there to stay. All right, sounds good.
Two people on HughesNet at the same time is probably
Give Sunshine a kiss for me.
too.
Yeah.
Just enough to set it over.
Way too much. Okay, so that command that they want us to enter, we can enter that using that Terminal Plus extension, or we can enter it at the command prompt. Were you able to get it to run okay at the command prompt? And we just won't worry about that Terminal Plus since it's causing so much trouble and wanting to, you know, be all GitHub cozy and everything. How are we doing? You didn't even get it, Vincent, so yours is working okay. Okay, let's see if we're working. We should be able to now open a Python program and run it in Atom. Now, when we're looking at the program, there's lots of different ways. Oh, we need to restart Atom. Sorry about that. Zach, let's close Atom and reopen it after we did that install. Reboot.
So I guess I tried to open something. So do you just open the command prompt and then paste that copy and paste from Atom, just paste it in there, or do you have to type anything prior to that?
You had to, no, you don't have to type anything before that. Just paste it in there and get rid of those single quotes. So that's our only problem with that command, is it should not have the single quotes to run it at the command prompt. And if you get it messed up, the up arrow will redisplay that original thing that you pasted so that you can try fixing it. Now Vincent's getting the error.
So just going over it, we're leaving out terminal, and then we're just going to use CMD for basically like all the terminal needs.
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Thank
At
you.
least for now.
It's okay, just checking. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to try to run this Python program, and there's lots of ways that we can run in Atom. You can press F5, and that should start the program, or at least tell us what's wrong with it. So we got a syntax error. Line 57. So look at that. We see, oh, that's nice, isn't it? We got line numbers, and we probably just need to comment that out with 3 tick marks before and 3 after. Some sort of where we were talking. Perfect. I don't know, it seemed to comment out that stuff above too. So up above, where it said, where you have the try accept information comment, yeah, it's weird, just delete it. Oh, he's got this.
I'm getting a syntax error
Oh, okay.
on the command prompt.
Were you able to get rid of both of the single quotes?
Yes.
And you can run that Python command just by itself. without an error.
Yeah, because I'll paste it in and get rid of the quote, and it's saying that there's a syntax error.
Okay, let's see. Zach, can we have her share? Oh, look at his Python program working. He's like, yeah, sure, right now. My program working. Okay, let's see it.
Is that working?
He says,
Go down to your start search, type CMD, and then over on the right, click Run as Administrator. And try it in here.
good job. There it goes, yay. Okay, so RJ, yours is working. Yes, Vincent, restart Atom after the command has run.
Oh, it's still going.
Once it's finally done, when you restart, you shouldn't see that error anymore.
Does that mean that it is done?
Uh-huh, yep.
Okay.
She straight just stopped sharing right
I
there.
know, I was excited I was gonna see it without the error. Okay. Anybody else, problems? Issues you want to share so we can get it fixed? As long as it's not your internet provider. Everybody's got it. Are we all working? Let's try it. Let's see. Okay, Isaiah.
I still won't have it until I get Adam, but
I think that's okay.
do you have a list? Like, do you have a list of what we need to do? Like, I don't think I'll remember all these steps necessarily once I do get it.
If you
okay.
If you hit me up on Discord once you've got access to the faster internet connection there, Travis, I'll walk you through it.
All right, cool. Thanks, man.
Right, should be no problem. It's once you've seen it, I think that really helps a lot. And I mean,
cool.
I guess sometimes as an instructor, especially with this online stuff, you feel like you're making videos for everything and people just aren't watching them, you know? And so every once in a while, you just don't have time. You're like, I'm just gonna make instructions. And then you realize that videos do really help a lot because you can see things. So really does make a big difference. But sometimes that's all you have is the instructions. Let's.
Yesterday, me and Isaiah were in our group trying to like get a little stuff done, and our program or our Adam was working outside of like those portals or whatever you want to call those rooms. But then whenever we got in there, we couldn't actually like run the files.
Oh, really?
I could run them like by myself though.
Can you show us?
Yeah, but the portal's no longer up though, so I'd have to have Isaiah like start the portal.
Well, let's do that now. I'll share my screen, or Zach, do you want to take back over again?
I made another portal. I put it in the Discord.
For some reason, it kept like every time it kept like kicking me out of the portal. I don't know why.
Do you have the authentication ticket thingy?
Yeah, let me try to get back in it.
Let's have one of those two share since they were having the problem.
I want to see the computer first that's creating the portal. Could you share, please?
Okay.
And we need everybody to have an opportunity to install that first.
All right. Is that working?
Yep.
I guess actually a better question would be to ask, did you ever get it to run in the portal that we were working in?
Wait a second. How can I unfull screen this? Or is this never mind. All right, what did you want to see? I have this little thing enabled down here, and I copied this link and sent it in there. For some reason it borked all my windows, but what did you want to see?
Adam.
This is Adam.
We're seeing your Discord screen.
You are?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hold on. My screen
Pretty sure it's not Adam.
That is whack. Hold on.
Making me unsure about everything.
Screen. How about this? Now can you see?
Yep.
There we go.
Adam.
Okay, so now that we don't have that start screen anymore, how do we get Isaiah to where we can install this? We need to install this for everybody first before we.
Well, hold on, I can run it right here.
Oh, so you so you got to
Wait. I want to install it before we use it. So how do we show everybody how to install it? Where would you go to install? You go to File. Thank you so much. And then how would we get back to this screen? What did you click on? That was a little quick.
Well, I went to Settings.
Thank you.
I went to Settings, which is where you get all of your packaging stuff. I'm fairly sure there's a command for it, but I don't know it. Then I went to this area where you have your packages and then finally your installs, and then you just type in Python here, really.
Now we want to install Teletype.
Oh, that.
Right. So we haven't installed it yet. So we're going to install.
Yes.
We're looking for Teletype.
So Teletype is at the very top of this list. You should be able to just install it, and you'll get a tiny little thing down there which you can use. Does Teletype not come pre-installed? Because it says Adam.
It doesn't.
It's not pre-installed now.
He did it so long ago he can't remember. Okay, now you can show us how to connect to each other. Thank you so much.
So if you're starting a chat room, I just clicked on this little button, which turned that on. If I turned it off, it would boot off these two people. And then I copied this link it gave me, which isn't really most things won't recognize it as a link. But let's just put that in that. And what it would do is it's sending a URL to Adam to do something via Teletype. And from there, if it loads, will it load? Maybe because I'm the, oh, never mind, it opened. Or, hold on, where'd that go? Where'd it go? Open URL, Adam. I saw a page there. There we go. Okay, so yeah, it says join this portal, which I probably shouldn't do because I'm also the host of the portal. But you should be able to go to that, and it'll ask you for a GitHub. Well, hold on, let's. Yeah, failed. You cannot connect to yourself. Predictable. Can somebody else should share to show how to connect for a portal because I'm just hosting the portal.
I'll share. All right. Let me go ahead and just leave this one. So I'm gonna go copy the link that is over in my Discord on my other screen, and then you just click here, join a portal. I guess it has it already saved. You just copy it in there, press join, and.
So now you're seeing the code that Isaiah is looking at.
Yes.
That he's sharing.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys said it wasn't working with you all updating?
Well, I saw Isaiah had his ran, but whenever I run mine, I get this path argument must be a string and stuff. But I mean, if it's not an actual system error, it might just be a code error.
I also get that dialogue.
It says the path argument must be type of string, received type undefined.
So can you but you're okay running Python programs outside of Teletype?
Yeah, so if I just go to my regular one and run it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can run stuff.
Okay, well, that was one of the reasons that I wanted to use it and go through all this trouble was because it let us run.
Yeah, right.
we'll have to investigate that. And it is like brand new. So we'll probably have to open some problem reports and see if we can get somebody to fix something. Oh, that looks so good. So this is our theory here, is that we can just share our code and get everything all lined up the way we want to. I'd like to have each study group kind of experiment a little while, but I know that we have some people that aren't able to get Atom downloaded and everything. So don't worry about it if you haven't been able to get it installed. On Thursday, we'll try to connect to our different study groups and do some code sharing. But today we'll just do other stuff so that we have a chance to get everything working. Does that look good? How do you guys like it?
If it works, it seems pretty good.
Yeah, after all the trouble, it better, huh? Okay, Dylan, where to find the path to run in the command prompt? Can you show?
The terminal one, or?
Just down on Windows in your search.
Oh, define CMD?
Type CMD.
Oh, yeah.
Over on the side, you want to run as administrator. Oh, thanks, Zach. He just copied that whole command.
Thank you. I was looking for that on my other one.
I was being mean and making everybody get rid of those single quotes. Oh, yeah, you guys have done this. So good, so good. Okay.
Now, I don't have to go anywhere, so that invite to contact me on Discord if you have some technical issues is open to the class, not just Travis. So,
thank you, Zach. We appreciate it.
Even if it's something that I haven't done, I can usually figure out what's going on. So feel free, if you're having something, I'm happy to take a look, even if I'm not part of the same study group you're in.
Awesome. Oh, you guys have done so
Dylan,
good.
I posted that up, just a couple of messages above that last comment.
Oh yeah, Dylan, it's just right above your comment in the chat.
Will the assignment for all of this be opened back up so we can get points for it?
You can submit it. The people that are not late will get more points. So no, I will not be changing the date. Because the people that spent their weekend get additional points. Do what? It should let you submit it. Let me know if it won't. Because it doesn't have a close date on it.
Okay.
Just a due date. But yeah, we have to watch our messages and stuff since we're trying to do everything online. Makes it a little tough. We have to be a little bit more dynamic than when we're seated. All right, so let's look at chapter 9. What time is it? Oh my goodness. I knew we would use a lot of time with getting Atom installed. It's a really hard choice, guys, because you can see why some instructors would stay just with the old stale editor that's available with Python, just because it's so much less trouble. Is that a good way to put it? It's a lot easier. And then in our field, when that happens, things become stale and outdated, but it's always work involved to move, to newer, more productive facilities. So we always have to make that decision. It's a hard one. Okay, so let's look at what we've got. I have unpublished an assignment that was listed as due this week. So if you were working ahead, check, because I did get rid of one. With our time spent on Atom, I knew that we wouldn't be able to get it done. For this week, what's due Thursday, we have this display area program. I'm going to change it to next Tuesday right now because we spent our whole class working on this. I went back and forth on it before class trying to decide. And then I'll change our other questions. So if any, I know some people have turned in these questions. Good job. I'm going to go ahead and extend it out to next week. So if you have already turned it in, if you see anything that you'd like to change, you can do so. And I think that we have a lot of A's, so everybody should be good. Vincent, it is the Chapter 9 review questions. So they're due a week from today, so you have time. And then we have a program that is the display area program. Now, this week, coming up, we have our Unit 3 exam. I'm going to change my settings to student view so it's not showing you these things I've gotten rid of. Right on past it. So we are going to have our Unit 3 exam. It's set right now for the hands-on and the exam to be due on 4/23, which is next Thursday at 11:59. So I think that should work. We'll keep watching it. There is a practice exam, like for our other unit exams. The hands-on assignment is one that you might be able to find a sample of in some of our documents, but it specifically asks you to only use the code that you already have on hand as a reference. So try to get you to create this one without referring to any other sources. I thought I was sharing. You guys got to say something. Sometimes you just think you got it and you don't. Okay, so Unit 3 hands-on, that's due on Thursday of next week. It is a game. You're going to generate a random number. That random number is going to be the number that the user is to guess. So when it says to validate the user input, that means that we might need to make sure that it's within a given range. Like if we say enter a number between 5 and 10, because that's our magic number. And then I was looking at the modules without showing you. So let me go back to those. So this week we have our review questions and this display area program. They're both due a week from today. We'll be working on creating functions. We've already created some functions, but we're going to start using our functions for input and output. So make them a little bit more powerful. The Unit 3 exam, there's a practice exam available. These will all be kind of like out of class. So you guys let me know your thoughts. Next Thursday, we can just have, you know, a short class, do a review, and then go into lab so that you can get your exam done. But you'll have to remind me. All right, so we're ready to start on Chapter 9, and I'm going to look at this overview. In our Prelude to Programming book, it's Chapter 9. There is a modular section available in Code Academy if you're interested in doing that. It's not assigned. Chelsea's got a question. Yes, you can refer to your code, any code that you've written. That's why it'll be so handy if you're using Atom that you can have your code folder right there open and you can just be looking through all of the different code files that you have. Just no internet resources, no textbook resources. Great. All right, so there should be good information in your Python textbook also on creating functions. So I'm going to go back to our module section, and I want to grab that chapter 9 presentation. It's always a battle on these things as to whether we should look at the textbook presentation. I do have one that's separate, but it's sometimes lacking. Let's take a look at the textbook one, because it's really thorough. So we've skipped chapter 7 and 8, if you're feeling like you've missed something, and we're going to go back to those, don't worry. Chapter 7 and 8 have to do with arrays and lists, and we've snuck a little bit of a sneak preview of those. They just work so much better if we're using them with subprograms. So we'd like to skip those chapters and come back to them. Whenever we're looking at a hierarchy chart, I wonder if I can, that creately one that I was looking at last time, I think is gone. Nope, there it is. Thank goodness. Last time we wrote this program where our main method called an input user function. Sorry, I used that word method. That has to do with C# and Java. It does not have to do with Python. But our main function called our input user function and a menu function, and our menu function called show length and exit. So this is our hierarchy chart. Everything on here only shows relationships between subprograms, where they're called and who they're called by. If I added additional information to this hierarchy chart having to do with data flow, then this hierarchy chart would become a data flow diagram. So a data flow diagram is just a little bit more than a hierarchy chart. It shows how data is moved between subprograms. Right now, the code that we've done, we have shared data between our subprograms by using global variables. So variables that were available to every module. This chapter, we're going to learn how we can get away from those global variables and pass parameters or data between our different modules. So instead of having one global variable that's updated by all our modules, we can keep them all separate. This way, if a data item in the main program is needed in a subprogram, we can pass that to or import it into the subprogram. When we do that, we say we pass a value to a subprogram, and the subprogram might return something back to us. It might not. So here's this data flow diagram. This data flow diagram is our sale price program that we started on at the very beginning of the semester. If you can remember it, we have a welcome message. We ask for the amount of sale, the original price and the percent of sale, and then we calculate the sale price and output all the information. When we're using this program, instead of using global variables, we could make it to where our input data method returns the original price and the discount rate to our main module. And then our main module passes or exports those values to our compute results. Compute results says, oh, okay, well here then I'm going to export or return to you the price. And then we pass all that information to our output results. This makes our functions a little bit more complicated because with using a global variable, we don't have to worry about what all needed to be imported and exported from each subprogram or each function. But by using our global variables, our subprograms become dependent upon each other. My compute results and my output results have to use the same variable name because it's a global variable. And if my compute results affects a variable, that could have an impact on my output. That can actually make it hard to assign work to different people. Because if I want one person to work on my compute results module and another person to work on my output results, they might have to communicate with each other. If we only import and export data, we make each subprogram completely standalone, then different programmers can work on different subprograms without affecting each other. So it gives us the best of both worlds. So how do we do this? We're going to use those parentheses. We know we've put an opening and close parenthesis at the end of every function name that we've created, and we haven't put anything in those parentheses. Well, now we're going to start. And what we're going to put in those parentheses are parameters. The parameters are simply going to be variable names. The variable names are going to say, if we're calling a function, here are the variables we want to export to that module. And then when we're defining our module, we say, hey, I'm a module and I need 1, 2, 3 arguments that are passed to me as variables. So the names of the variables do not need to be the same. The calling program and the called subprogram can be different. So we can actually have that independence. Now our modules do not really affect each other. They just pass data back and forth. Now in this example, we're going to call our output results subprogram. This is pseudocode. So remember, it doesn't look like our Python code, but our pseudocode, we're saying we want to, oh no, actually, sorry, here we're declaring our program. We're saying here is a subprogram named output results, and it needs these data elements, the old price, the rate, and the new price. And then when we call that output results subprogram, in pseudocode, we'd use the keyword call. We're going to say, here are the variables that should be passed in to those parameters as arguments. They are assigned in order. So when I call output results, the first argument is going to be assigned to the first parameter. The second argument is going to be assigned to the second parameter, and the third. So in our sale price program, we declare our output results subprogram, saying it needs the old price, the rate, and the new price. And then we can call that subprogram, passing that data as arguments. Let's try one. You can use atom or idle. But in atom, we want to make sure that we have our Python code library open. I have a bunch of tabs open, so I'm going to close those. And I want to create a new file in my folder. So I can make sure that I'm clicked on the folder, can choose the file menu and make a new file. I can right click and choose new file. I can type Shift A, that's super cool, for a new file. Now, it's already got my folder name there, so I just need to put the name of my Python file. This one is going to be chapter 9. And this first program that we write is going to be yellow duck.py. when we've been using idle, we haven't had to worry about typing .py as a file type for our Python code. But when we're in Atom, because Atom works with so many different languages, we do need to make sure we type that. Oops, I just created a new folder, didn't I? That's not what I wanted to do. Let me delete it. Duh. And I was so excited. Go away, folder. It's going to go away eventually, I swear. Now, if I wanted to, I could put my new Python file in that folder. I don't, though. So I'll just create a new file. Oh, I did do Shift-A. My bad. See what I did? Because I was like, how do I do an uppercase A without Shift? So you guys help me with that one. Yellow.py. Now that looks better. My yellow duck file is over here in my folder file list, and I can minimize that project window. There it is with this minimize arrow. Now in my Python code, I see I've got a tab here. I could bring up another program if I wanted to as an example because I wanted to look at the code. Or I can just start typing. So this script its purpose is to pass some data to a function. So we can make sure that our function is working properly. So in this program, we're not going to do very much. I'm not even going to tell you about it. We're going to define a function named animal. Before we can tell anybody anything about their animal, we're going to need to know what color it is and what type of beast or animal it be. When they tell us that, we're going to print out pet you are buying is A. Then we're going to add in the color and a space and what type of animal it is. So comments. This function with info about animal. It has some inputs, the color and the type of beast. Look at that, it did it for me, didn't it? If I just put the name of the function, and went ahead and put that code in there for me so that I knew that I needed my color and my beast. And then our method is not going to have any output this time. So now it's helping me too much. None. Press escape to make that list go away, and then press space. So there's my function. Now I need a main method, a main function to run that. For today, I would like my pet to be yellow duck. Now I need to run my main. And I should be able to run my Python program. Unexpected indent. My whole program is indented. So I'm going to press Shift Tab to back tab, Shift Tab, after I select everything so that it's not indented improperly. And then I'm going to press F5 again. And I get the message, the pet you are buying is a duck yellow. In my call, I said the first argument is value duck and the second is yellow. But in the definition, I said the color should be first and the type of beast should be second. So see how if these are not in the correct order, we get incorrect output. So I'm going to fix that. And I'll make it be a yellow. And now the pet you are buying is a yellow duck. So that looks a little bit better. Is there anything that I want to put in there comment-wise to be helpful? When we call, arguments to the parameters. And so our arguments and our parameters are always separated by commas. I could also use variables. So I could say equals frog color equals purple. And then I could call my animal function again. Using my variables. And the first time I called the animal function, I had a yellow duck, and the second time, a purple frog. So we've been using functions off and on. We just are going to start passing data back and forth so that we can get away from those global variables because they're really something that's discouraged. So. Phew, too much excitement. Is it working for you? I know some of you are going to fight with your HughesNet connections and see if you can get there. And yes, any of us will try to download files and send them to you in any other way that we can. The Atom site might be busy. This teletype facility is brand new and there could be a lot of excitement, different people trying to use it. So we might be seeing a little bit of a slowdown. I think they have kind of a busy server anyways. Teletypes, this beautiful picture here for you. All these error messages, I can't find it. Here's a bunch of students working with teletype machines. And this is where that term actually comes from, the teletype program, because these were the earliest devices that were networked together that allowed people to work and do something. You can see they have their microfiche readers here and their teletype machines here, where they're looking at data from whatever server it is they're connected
I remember
to.
those machines.
Are they beautiful? It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's actually from, I think this picture is from a 1970 National Geographic. And I just thought it was really interesting. This is like at Harvard or one of the great big college universities with a big giant computer lab with nothing but teletype machines. So pretty ugly. Thank you. Do I?
I've never seen those teletype machines before.
I know, that's why I wanted to show you the picture because they were only around for a little while and we have a lot of history that ties to them because if you use Linux, You have to do a lot of commands, you know, with TTYs, and that's short for teletype. So even though they weren't around for very long, they had a really big impact in how a lot of things got named. So it's just like a really, really old school, dumb monitor. Only even dumber. Ugly, ugly. Okay, you guys accomplished a ton. Thank you for trying so hard. I know that Adam definitely caused some issues. Sorry, I did not understand that it was taking you guys to the Windows Store. So this is why we can have more trouble when we're working online than when we're working together. So keep trying to help each other, keep trying to help me understand, and we'll get it all to work out. I hope everybody's got Adam working. So I said next time we'll try to do a little bit of group work. It won't be anything that will be points dependent. You know, it's just an opportunity for you guys to see if it all works before we have anything that does require it. Make sure we've got everybody working, because we won't use it. We won't have any assignments that require it. If it's something that we can't all use, we'll make sure. So that is important. All right, any comments for the greater good? Questions? If you've got one, I'm sure there's others that are thinking the same question. Everybody's got it. Sure, let's try it. That's not what I want. Oh, I only need to do that authentication to GitHub once, huh?
Yeah, it should automatically save the information for GitHub for you in the settings.
That's what I was waiting for. I'm going to paste this in the chat. Okay, try it. There's one. There's one. Did it kick you out? Is it crashing?
No, I see them posting.
Oh, it's just the join messages. Sorry, I wasn't looking down here. Yeah, try to type. See what you can do. Mess this file all up. Get it all mangled. I like that. So I can see the different colors. Can you guys see the different colors? See, how many do we have? 7. That's pretty good. Keep going. Let's see how many we can get.
Well, I'm not going to be joining in on this one. I'm holding the baby, getting her back to sleep. So
I'm so jealous.
if I had the webcam set up, I'd let everybody see her, but I don't know where it is.
Oh no, just a little bit going on around your house, huh?
Well, you know, we've got 5 of the 7 kids that we're homeschooling because the state schools have closed, and everybody's schedule's thrown off. I do the majority of my schoolwork in the middle of the night while everybody's asleep. Well, that has become sort of nebulous because the children have figured out, oh, there's no more school days this school year, so I'm just going to stay up until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning.
That sounds fun. I'm waiting for the worst joke. Somebody said they were going to do worst joke. Is it changing your color as other people join? That's what it looks like.
He was playing out Smash Mouth, and I called it the worst joke.
It was the greatest song in the world time, whatever. Coolness. I think that's really cool. So we can do that if you guys want, instead of you watching the Zoom screen, you could just totally interrupt me on my screen. That would be interesting. Be easier for me than finding the chat. I think we got quite a few people in. That's pretty neat. How was the response? Does it feel real laggy? Yeah, I don't know how it looks on other people.
Well, I can certainly see where if we're watching somebody type, it feels laggy because not everybody types at the same speed.
Right.
But from what it looks like it's pretty snappy.
I think it's doing really, really fast. We'll get our HughesNet folks in here and see what it does. Yay. Yeah, it's super easy to use once we get it installed. Huh? It's just a killer to get us there. So it was just because Microsoft got involved and tried to suck Python into the Windows Store and do all that weird stuff. So you guys know all about it. Was it worth it? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. You like it? Oh, that's true. That is really nice. Because I have the big curved monitor, and that's why I bought it, because I just was so tired of scrolling sideways on things. So awesome. I'll see you guys Thursday. We'll play with it some more. Utilize the features.
And that offer still stands. If anybody wants to poke at me on Discord, I'm happy to be available. If I don't get to you and respond immediately, don't take it personal. I'm just busy, and I will respond to you as soon as I notice the message.
Thank you so much, Zach. Thanks everybody for all your help. We could not have done it without everybody working together. So great job. I will see you Thursday.